I believe we are live. Let me check here. Do some refreshing. And yeah, looks like we are live. Fuck yeah. There we go. Excellent. Hello, hello. Welcome back to another great and awesome and amazing, super cool episode of Dawn of Ancapistan. Um, as you guys can see, we got a little small community going here. Um, little, as you call it, like a compound. Well, we're gonna make a nice, large village out of this eventually. But for now, this is what we're working with. Moving along in the Paleolithic era, we're almost finished with that. Now we get to move on to the Mesolithic, so that'll be kind of cool. And yeah, so we're gonna make sure that we get some Dawn of Ancapistan done in this game of Dawn of Man. Of course, if you have not played it, highly recommend it. Very fun game. Lots of good, what's it called, like mods basically. Lots of mods for it that'll make it really fun, make it extra challenging a lot of times as well. I recommend it if you don't have it already. And also today, we're going to be talking some shit about the state. We're talking about particularly Murray Rothbard's version of the state, or his, I guess, his definition, and he's going to kind of show us through quotes that I've got pulled up what exactly the state is, more importantly, what it is not, and what the state fears the most. So that'll be kind of cool. So make sure you snuggle in, join me on the porch for a little bit of gaming activities here and some philosophizing at you. Um, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button, right? Got a little subscribe button down there. We've also got down in the description some cool stuff like our Discord server, which is a lot of fun. If you're not on our Discord server, you're missing out on tons of bants, memes, fun shit. It's all over there. So make sure you go and hang out with them. Uh, they're like new people. And of course, my Twitter is down below at John underscore Archist. And also the Porch Boys Twitter is down there as well. So make sure you give both of those a follow. And let me fix my camera. There we go. Looks like it was a little off kilter there. Very ungovernable, my camera. Alright, so let's get started on this game. And then I'm going to kind of wait for a couple of minutes, let some people trickle in if they're going to. If not, that's fine too. We'll continue as though there were people here. And some people might see it later on. So let's go ahead and start off by increasing our drying capacity so we can preserve food. Now our population is getting up there at 23. We've only got 4 drying racks. We need to at least have 4 more. You can also get some hunting done. Ooh, mammoth, for sure. It's an old female, but they usually travel in packs. I wonder if there are any other ones around. I don't see any other ones, but there's... Oh, there's 3 mammoth. 2 little babies. Well, I mean, Roe v. Wade has been overturned, but I think we can still do some... abort some mammoths here. Let's go ahead and do that. Feel it, mammoths. Yeah, you honk away, motherfucker. Got one of them. Got another. Dog has been killed, but I got all 3 mammoths. Oh, I didn't get that one. Oh, got him. Nice. We got all the mammoths we could possibly get. Sweet. And only lost a dog in the process. So now we're going to have a ton of meat. Now we're going to have a bunch of dry skins. And we are going to... I don't know if we need tanning yet, necessarily. Tanning or hunting dogs? I think hunting dogs is more useful at the moment. Give another like 10 minutes or so before I start, I think. I'll start with the philosophizing. Let's see. What else do I need? More sticks, of course. Trader has arrived. I don't think I need anything from this trader. Going to the store. You guys want something? Alright. Cool. Alright, so there's not much for me to do right now, so maybe I'll just go ahead and start. Let's see. Yeah, I think I can do that. Make sure that doesn't pop up on the screen. I have my little page of Rothbard quotes here that I'm going to draw from. That way, I have some kind of source material to jump back to in order to have a jumping off topic, as it were. Let's get these shit going, guys. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and start with one. Let's pick one here. Okay, yeah, let's go with his definition of the state. I think that's a good idea. Good place to start, right? Well, this I think is a very succinct definition of state. So he says, and I quote from Murray Rothbard, Anatomy of the State: "The state is that organization in society which attempts to maintain a monopoly on the use of force and violence in a given territorial area. In particular, it is the only organization in society that obtains its revenue not by voluntary contribution or payment for services rendered, but by coercion." Right, and that's exactly kind of where I think a lot of people get wrong about anarchists and anarchist philosophy. I've had this said to me before that like every time I've talked to an anarchist, they always end up just recreating society with the government. And it's like, well, no, that's not true though, because that's what we're talking about, right? When we're talking about the state, we're talking about that exactly. The only organization in society that gets its gets what its goods, right? Gets any kind of property that it has by through coercion, through force, right? Whereas nobody else does that. So if we can be free of that, that is technically, for the most part, with exceptions, for the most part, that is anarchy. It is not supposed to mean chaos, destruction, wanton slaughter, right? Those are all things that happen with the state, right? That is not what anarchy is about or will inevitably lead to. Um, Because I mean, I would argue the same with the state, right? Even if that were true, that an anarchist society would inevitably, cause wanton slaughter and theft, exploitation, coercion, right? Okay, so with anarchy, that's a possibility. With the state, that's a guarantee, right? So which one's kind of a little bit more morally better? Right? Like, would you like the guarantee of destruction and slaughter, or would you like, hey, there's a chance that it'll happen, but it also might not? Something to think about, perhaps. Something to think about. All right, let's see. Where's who's gathering my sticks? Someone needs to gather sticks faster. Gather more sticks. All right, cool. So now we're gonna gather sticks and fish faster. All right, cool. That's fuck. All right, I think that's all of my little things there. All right. So we went through the definition of the state. I think that's a very succinct definition. If anyone has any issues with that later on, wants to, offer a critique of it, You can do that later on, since you're not here right now. I have no problem with that. Oh, here's a good one. Yeah. Uh, okay, I like this one. All right, so yeah. Um, it's also often said, especially in such as like a representative republic, such as the one that we allegedly live under in the United States. Um, but instead of any kind of Western democracy, right? No matter what that looks like, no matter what different kind of tweaks there are to the system, it's always said like it's a government for the people, right? The people are the government. We are the government, right? That's a very very common thing to be said. It's also utter nonsense, of course, and I will allow Murray Rothbard to tell you why. And I quote once again from Anatomy of the State: "If we are the government, then anything a government does to an individual is not only just and untyrannical, but also voluntary on the part of the individual concerned. If the government conscripts a man or throws him into jail for dissident opinion, then he is doing it to himself, and therefore nothing untoward has occurred." Right. So, right. So what he's basically saying is, if we are the government, then whatever's done. And in the book, he actually goes way further, gives several examples um, of ways that we are not the government, right? The government is not us. It is a completely separate entity from us. So even in your Western democracy, your representative republic, right? Parliament, whatever twist you want to put on it, we are not the government. The government is not us, right? And there's another one that I want to use for to follow that one up. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah. Um, so the idea that since we are the government, apparently, right? The hypothesis would be, or I guess it would logically follow that if that were true, then the state is here to protect our rights, right? Protect the rights of the people because they are also the people. So they're there to protect your rights. They're there to save you from people who would violate those rights. Um, but if I may quote once again, uh, we may test the hypothesis that the state is largely interested in protecting itself rather than its subjects by asking, which category of crimes does the state pursue and punish most intensely? Those against private citizens or those against itself? The gravest crimes in the state's lexicon are almost invariably not invasions of private person or property, but dangers to its own contentment. For example, treason, desertion of a soldier to the enemy, failure to register for the draft, subversion and subversive conspiracy, assassination of rulers, and such economic crimes against the state as counterfeiting its money or evasion of its income tax. Or compare the degree of zeal devoted to pursuing the man who assaults a policeman with the attention the state pays to the assault of an ordinary citizen. Yet curiously, the state's openly assigned priority to its own defense against the public strikes few people as inconsistent with its presumed raison d'etre. Very fancy little word at the end there. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't think that's disputable, right? Like, I mean, obviously, something you do to the government, they're going to pursue you much more harshly than they would if it was against a private person, right? I mean, just look at what happened with January 6th versus the Summer of Love riots the year before, right? Just a few months prior, right? Who was being thrown in jail? Who was being sought mercilessly? versus who had celebrities and politicians paying their bail, if they even got arrested, that they had their bail paid, right? I mean, who were each side attacking, technically attacking? Um, right. So clearly, the state is much more interested in its own protection than it is your protection. So therefore, the state is, in fact, is a different entity than you, and is not interested in your protection, and it sees itself as maybe not a direct enemy, but certainly of a higher class than you. So no, the state is not we, the government. We are not the government. The government is something separate from us, and the government is not interested in protecting you, and it's damn sure interested in protecting itself. So now we can kind of see painting a sort of picture of like government as this separate other entity, and it's obviously above, almost like I would describe it as tax plantation that we're living on, right? You are to go and work, and you are to give them your money. I mean, that's it, right? You are the productive members of society. Politicians are not, right? There's a reason why they're compared to leeches and stuff, which of course most people don't realize how apt that is. Like, yeah, okay, they get tax money, as their paycheck, but it's not even that. I mean, they get to steal from you in all kinds of different ways. Not even just tax. If they only got paid in taxes, they probably wouldn't be. There'd probably be a few millionaires if they were thrifty, but they would not be these ultra rich, people. They would not be that rich if they were living just off of the salary alone. So yes, the state is not your friend. Um, Another thing that I'm not going to read. I don't have a quote for it here, but so I'll kind of paraphrase. But what Rothbard is talking about in that same book, Anatomy of the State, all of his quotes are from Anatomy of the State, by the way. Um, Another thing that he talks about is how the state is sort of like a group of bandits. I think I might have brought this up last week, but they're like a group of bandits that conquered, a neighboring tribe or a village, whatever, and then figured out that instead of going through and plundering everything, burning it, and leaving and moving on to the next one, that they would be much more profitable and loot for a lot longer if they just settled among the conquered people and stole from them slowly over time. Okay, yeah, system defective. Um, there they are. Oh no, we lost Tarek. Everybody really liked him. All right, put that thing's down. All right, so anyway, yeah, so with the bandits settling among the conquered, and they're able to, draw more resources over time as the people continue to produce, and then they're able to, through tribute or taxation, right? They're able to draw more resources over a longer period of time without the risk of having to conquer over and over and over again. This is how you get a modern state over time, right? Especially as the conquered people slowly forget that they were conquered, right? And then the conquerors become kind of, instead of becoming bandits, instead of being bandits, they become noblemen, right? They become the upper class, right? Because they're the conquerors. Um, so that's kind of I think the best way of looking at it, because it is the most accurate for sure. It's the most accurate to history, rather than some kind of divine right to rule, um, or some kind of family lineage, which of course happened, but I mean lineage for what? For the conqueror. The conqueror gets to pass down their rule to to their son, most likely, right? It's mostly the son, um, and they can keep their power in that way. It's a lot easier to keep it in a what's it called, hereditary kind of sense rather than reconquering every generation. Few minutes here. Pay attention to my little civilization so they don't fall apart while I'm talking. They seem to be doing alright for themselves though, little guys. What you guys doing? It's almost fall. Do I need anything? I don't think so. I think I'm pretty good for now. Alright. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I kind of have two here. Um, Firstly, being he talks of intellectuals. um, so he first says it is evident that the state needs the intellectuals. It is not so evident why intellectuals need the state. And so let me try and find. There's a couple of them that go with this. So we'll try. Unfortunately, this site does not have them in order. Um, so let me try and find it. Where is it? Come on, you're embarrassing me, Goodreads. What the hell is it? Come on now. Okay, so for this essential acceptance, the majority must be persuaded by ideology that their government is good, wise, and at least inevitable, and certainly better than any other conceivable alternatives. Promoting this ideology among the people is the vital social task of the intellectuals, right? So with that, uh, so it is not. So that's why it says it is evident that the state needs the intellectuals, but not necessarily evident that the intellectuals need the state. Um, Put simply, he's quoting again, we may state that the intellectual's livelihood in the market is never too secure, end quote, which is true, because they have to be persuaded, people have to be persuaded that intellectualism matters, and to the average person, it really doesn't. Most people are not interested in like lofty academics or you know trying to that's not a good place for trees um they're just trying to live their lives as best they can, right, to survive. They're not necessarily trying to um they're not trying to intellectualize all the time, right? So who does though, who needs that to happen, because regular people, right, don't spend a lot of time thinking through intellectual matters. So it's a lot easier when someone comes along who does to convince them of their ways, all right, of their ideology, which is of course vital, as we heard from that other Rothbard quote. It's absolutely vital for the state's existence. Otherwise, the majority of people would stop supporting it, and it could not exist. So the intellectuals are there to keep the people basically in line, um, to basically convince them that the state is not only good, wise, virtuous, but inevitable. It's certainly better than any alternative, such as, of course, anarchy. That's right. Government and intellectualism is a big psyop. Says Mary Rothbard. Um, but that's essentially what it is, right? It's this like washing of the hands between, uh, government or a state and intellectuals. We'll give that another few minutes. I'll probably actually cut this one short because there's nobody hanging out. Plus, I think the shorter the better. Nobody wants to fucking listen to some neckbeard opine about fucking Rothbard for more than half an hour. Let's go ahead. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up this little project I got going here. Once that's done, did I ever get? Oh my god, I don't think I did. I don't think I have any kind of storage for stones and sticks. That's very unfortunate. Let me go ahead and fix that issue here. Alright, let's finish this up and then we'll finish up. But definitely, guys, thank you for watching this afterwards. I appreciate it. Again, if you didn't see here at the beginning, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out our description. We got a bunch of stuff down there that's pretty cool. And oh shit, get these wolves! Don't let them fuck you up, man. All right, so that's getting dealt with. All right, I think we'll end here before the winter starts. So I might try something else next week. I'm not sure how well this, kind of pontificating at the camera while playing a game is doing. I definitely want to do something though. I don't know. Maybe I'll finally give Highleaf that debate he was looking for. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll have a guest for next week. I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you guys know what I plan on doing, and yeah, we will see you guys next time. See you.